It's one of the newest attractions of the Strip. Concerts have some of the hottest tickets in Vegas, but the company behind the Sphere is reporting big losses. Sphere Entertainment executives reported a 120.
Tourism in Las Vegas in a big slump this summer, costing the city billions.
$2.3 billion gone, evaporated, vanished into the desert heat of Las Vegas. And somehow, even now, no one can fully explain how it happened. The Las Vegas Sphere, once celebrated as the future of entertainment and the most technologically advanced venue ever created, has become something very different. A financial echo chamber filled with unanswered questions, massive losses, and a glow that hides a storm beneath its surface. When the Sphere first lit up, the world stopped to stare. It didn't look like a building, it looked like an alien world rising out of the earth. Tourists slammed on their brakes along the freeway just to take pictures. Planes flying into Harry Reid Airport angled their wings so passengers could glimpse it from above. Social media exploded. Within hours, the Sphere became the most photographed structure in America,
even more
and it
unreal.
hadn't even opened its doors yet.
16K resolution screen taller than a 10-story building wrapped completely around the audience, swallowing people whole in a digital universe. Tens of thousands of speakers were hidden in the walls, under seats, behind panels, each delivering audio so precise that two people sitting next to each other could hear entirely different sound layers. Floors vibrated, airflow systems simulated wind, haptics made the seats rumble. Everything felt like the birth of a new reality. U2's opening concerts were hailed as historic. Critics called them transcendental. Audiences left in tears. Darren Aronofsky's Postcard from Earth absolutely stunned viewers, not with story, but with the overwhelming power of immersion. People described shots so realistic they triggered actual vertigo. Some couldn't tell where the screen ended and the real world began. For a brief moment, everyone believed the Sphere wasn't just entertainment, it was evolution, a new medium, a new frontier. But behind the glowing lights, behind the spectacle and noise, the cracks were already forming. Giant ones, dangerous ones. In its very first financial quarter after opening, the Sphere reported nearly $100 million in operating losses, not construction overruns, not one-time launch expenses, actual operational losses, money hemorrhaging from the building simply because it existed. By the end of its first fiscal year, the Sphere had already burned over $500 million, $500 million gone in 12 months, even with sold-out crowds and global attention.
How is that possible? Because the Sphere isn't a venue, it's a machine that costs more to operate than any entertainment building ever created. Those gigantic LED panels, they don't maintain themselves. That precision audio, it requires a literal army of engineers. The cooling systems inside the building, especially during Las Vegas summers, are so massive they could chill an entire department store. Every night the Sphere runs, it spends millions. Every day it sits unused, it still spends millions. But then came the moment Sphere Entertainment never expected. Empty seats. Shows that were supposed to be sold out started revealing patches of empty rows. Once premium $119 tickets dropped quietly to $99, then to $79, then lower. The Sphere had begun its silent financial slide. And right at that moment, the company's chief financial officer resigned. No statement, no press conference, no lengthy explanation. He just left. In the financial world, that is not a coincidence. That is a warning flared into the night sky. CFOs don't resign in the middle of historic losses unless the numbers they're seeing behind closed doors are far worse than anyone is being told publicly. To understand how the sphere reached this point, you have to understand James Dolan, the man behind it all. Dolan is the billionaire owner of Madison Square Garden, the New York Knicks, and multiple entertainment companies. He's a visionary to some and a reckless gambler to others. Under his ownership, the Knicks endured one of the worst stretches in franchise history. MSG was heavily criticized for using facial recognition to ban fans. And yet Dolan remained defiant, confident, and unshakably committed to doing things his own way. The sphere was his obsession, his personal moonshot, his legacy project. He pushed for technologies that didn't exist. He demanded screens the world had never seen. He approved budgets with no ceiling and timelines with no forgiveness. He believed the sphere would be remembered forever, the way people remember the Eiffel Tower or the Sydney Opera House. And maybe he was right. But legacy projects are dangerous when they stop being business and start becoming ego. So, where did the $2.3 billion go? The breakdown is brutal. Nearly $1.4 billion went into construction. Steel structures more complex than stadiums, seismic reinforcements, ground preparations, and a spherical frame that needed custom engineering on nearly every level. Another $600 million went into technology, the world's largest LED display, next-gen audio systems, advanced projection software, motion-synchronized seats, environmental effects, and custom hardware built exclusively for this building and no other. Then there were the operations. Hundreds of millions of dollars poured into staff, technicians, maintenance, safety systems, utilities, marketing campaigns, legal costs, and the creation of Sphere Studios, a content-making division designed to produce films and experiences that only the Sphere could display. But here's the darkest truth behind all of it. None of this investment produces scalable revenue. The Sphere's content can't be streamed, it can't tour, it can't be licensed to theaters. A movie made for the Sphere can only be shown inside the Sphere, in one city, in one building, to one audience. It's like making a $100 million Hollywood film and only screening it in a single theater. Once a tourist sees the show once, they don't come back. Demand peaks, then drops. And the Sphere has no way to expand that content into multiple markets because no other spheres exist yet. This business model is fundamentally broken. High cost, low scale, limited repeatability, massive operational expenses, and a content system that cannot survive without constant new visitors. Sphere Entertainment's only escape plan now is international expansion, specifically a proposed Sphere in Abu Dhabi. But this time, they don't want to build it themselves. They want someone else to fund the construction while Sphere licenses the technology and content. In theory, this model could finally create scalability. Multiple spheres sharing the same films, same shows, same experiences. But it requires one massive assumption, that the content the company produces is actually reusable, high quality, and desirable enough to sustain multiple domes for years. Right now, that hasn't been proven.
Meanwhile, debt is piling up. Investors are getting nervous. Analysts are raising alarms. The entertainment industry is questioning whether this was brilliance or madness.
The truth about the sphere isn't hidden in its finances. It's hidden in the psychology of the people who built it, the motivations behind every decision, and the escalating desperation on the Strip. Because Las Vegas has always been a place built on illusions. Lights distract people from the darkness behind them, and spectacle hides the cracks underneath. The sphere simply amplified that pattern to a scale no one had ever attempted before. Every city has its limits. Every industry has its breaking point. And Las Vegas, a city that depends on tourism like the human body depends on oxygen, was already facing a slow suffocation long before the sphere opened its doors. Visitor spending was drifting downward. Hotel occupancy was slipping month after month. Middle-class tourists, the backbone of Vegas, were quietly disappearing. And people weren't coming for the same reason anymore. They weren't here to gamble. They weren't here to spend impulsively. They were here to take pictures, walk around, post one video on TikTok, and leave the next morning. So the sphere didn't arrive in a moment of strength. It arrived in a moment of fragility. A moment when the city was desperate for a miracle, for a new attraction, for a new icon that could revive tourism and pull in millions. But a miracle built on a shaky foundation will always collapse under its own weight. And that's exactly what began happening. Behind closed doors, industry analysts already knew the truth. The sphere wasn't bringing more visitors to Vegas. It was simply absorbing the ones already coming. Tourists weren't extending their stay. They weren't spending more in casinos. They were cutting budgets elsewhere, dinners, shows, attractions, just to afford one night inside the sphere. The city wasn't gaining new revenue. It was cannibalizing its own. Employees inside the venue began to notice the shift before anyone else. Fewer buses filled with tour groups, fewer Europeans booking multiple nights, more couples choosing the cheapest available seats, more people taking photos in the lobby instead of buying drinks or souvenirs, a pattern that spelled out something alarming.